If that was you on the phone and you on the bus, then who was flickering the lights?
Sorry, Dre. This is about to go real left. Sorry, Dre. First of all, y'all don't even know what the y'all talking about because y'all talking about the NBA. Everybody got guaranteed contracts, and it's false.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait. First of all, you're not gonna speed past that like you didn't just say what you just said.
Searching this, and I'm telling you, it's the truth. No, they don't. Not everybody that's on the NBA roster have a guarantee. There's two-way contracts. There's two-way contracts, and then there's the top dog. There's the top dog. No, it's not. There's 4 guys on the NBA team that got guaranteed contracts, and everybody else will be cut today. And don't.
What on earth are you looking at?
I have no idea.
All I hear is yap, 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 yap. Ain't talking about nothing, right? Watch this. We gon' bring that pressure.
Just a little FYI, FYF 20K sub 6 months, what's next? They been hating at first, now they calling us the best. Hit up YouTube, tell them cut the check. This a FYI, FYF 20K sub 6 months, what's next? Woo, fuck your feelings, we all know who the real is. I be getting to it, ain't wasting no time. Walking straight in, we ain't waiting in line. Fuck your feelings, you don't care about mine. You a YouTube gangster, don't be yelling out slime. Or you talking LB, talking Ticket TV. Ain't nobody watching them, all the viewers be sleep. 5 years in, all your subs is your friends. Ticket TV, watch your cars again. Just a little FYI, FYF 20K sub 6 months, what's next? They been hating at first, now they calling us the best. Hit up YouTube, tell them cut the check. It's a FYI, FYF 20K sub 6 months, what's next? Woo, fuck your feelings, we all know who the real. They all know, shop don't close. Working 24, trying to make the channel grow. Look at them, pointing fingers, hating on the low. You can't compete with our podcast show. Couldn't make.
Hey, it's FYF Sportsman. It's Lamont. We are back with another podcast episode. Got a special episode for you guys today. Just based on, I was just scrolling, I'm scrolling through YouTube and I came across this video and it just kind of reminded me of some of the live stream debates that we have, how, the debate gets heated. Both parties feel like they're right and people bring up their viewpoints. So I think this was a good example of, how even though if you're talking loud and you feel like you're right, you may not always be 100% right, especially if you're not following the moniker of FYF Sportsman, research purposes only. That's one of our main monikers here. Do your research. So, man, when you come into any particular debate, man, you got a lot of facts to stand on to say whatever you need to say. Man, take your emotions out of it, because once you start getting emotional about some of these topics, you start losing brain cells, you start losing common sense, and your argument goes into the trash can. All right, we seen that happen with Joe Biden 247, lost the debate to Go.Mike, got caught up in his feelings about the Nets, got ether. We look at MacDef, same situation. Messed around and got ether by Go.Mike, and now you're looking crazy on the debate stage. So that's what we're going to be discussing today. We're going to be checking out a video as well. I really want you guys to look at this, and then we're going to go to the facts to see what's what with regards to this particular situation. But before we get started with today's video, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell to the video if you haven't done so already. We're grinding to 100K. This is the year of the 100K. We're going to be getting that YouTube plaque on the wall. The only way it happens is if you guys continue to actively engage in the videos, the community posts. Smash that like button. All right, we see YouTube playing with the likes and all of this. Make sure you smash the like, comment on all the videos. Give us that engagement so they cannot keep playing with the YouTube algorithm as it affects our channel and all of the smaller channels here on YouTube. Also, make sure, if you haven't done so already, make sure you grab your bottle of body armor. All right, this is the second sponsor to step up and really sponsor the FYF Sports Community Basketball event. We still need your support to make that happen. We're looking to get to that $5,000 donation threshold. All right, but we have picked up a second sponsor. They're the drink sponsor for the event. They're going to be sponsoring all of the drinks for the event for all of the athletes, man. And one of the reasons why I like partnering with them is when I look at Gatorade, other countries In certain countries like Germany and some of these other countries, Gatorade is banned in other places outside of the US. Why? Because of the artificial colors, and some of the ingredients in there are more harmful than good. When you pick up a bottle of Body Armor, y'all, coconut water, extremely good for you. That's the number one place you want to start. All right, it's a low calorie drink, and then if the 120 calories here is too much for you, they have a low calorie version for you. But you're talking about all the ingredients that you need to fuel you before your workout, after your workout, or just to get through the daily grind. So make sure you pick up a Body Armor. A lot of flavors out there. Just make sure you check them out. But again, definitely salute to Body Armor, one of the new sponsors for the show. But before, what we're talking about today is how people debate. And just because you have a lot of emotion and energy behind your debate doesn't always mean you're right. One of the greatest debaters on this channel. Excuse me. Let's talk about, Elder Rufus. He's one of the best debaters on this channel, but you will rarely see him get emotional, get out of body, get loud, going off in a tangent about anything. He stayed calm, collective, and he uses the facts to back his arguments up. That's why he's in the Hall of Fame. I don't know what's going on today. Then we have, LVZ. Now, LVZ is a bit more eccentric with his arguments. He's not as emotional. One thing LVZ is, and people confuse his energy with emotion. No, he has energy. Right? He may crack a few jokes. He has energy, but he does bring the facts, which is why he's also in the Hall of Fame. All right, and that's what we're gonna be talking about today, man. Because I saw this video clip. This video clip is from a YouTube channel called I Am Athlete. This is a discussion between Brandon Marshall, Chad Johnson, and the host over contracts in the NFL and the NBA. And Brandon Marshall was saying some things about NBA contracts when I had to sit back and I'm like, I don't know if that's 100% factual. Just based off what I know. But again, I still have to consider what he's saying. Even though it's likely it is not true, I have to consider that it may be true. Just do my research to follow up on it. So I want you guys to watch this clip. Watch this clip between Brandon Marshall, Chad Johnson, and the host on I Am Athlete. We're gonna try to digest some of the things that they're saying. And again, they cover a lot of topics: NFL contracts, NBA contracts, some of these social issues, and we're going to try to dissect this argument and really separate the facts from the fiction. That's what we do here at FYF Sports. Hey, you know what? Let's go ahead and get to the video. Just heard that conversation. Brandon Marshall, Chad Johnson got heated. They talked about a number of different topics. We're going to try to go through some of those topics one by one to dissect the facts. Because they said a lot of things and both had arguments that were factual to some degree, incorrect to some degree. And I want to focus on starting with what Brandon Marshall initially stated by starting his conversation. And he basically said that NBA contracts are not guaranteed. He said only 4 players on every roster have guaranteed contracts. All right. And so the first thing I typed in, well, obviously you can go to Google to find out anything that you need. You can pull up the CBA on NBA.com. There are a lot of things that you can look up to get the facts on that particular question. The first thing that I pulled up from NBA.com, and when it talks about NBA player contracts, the first thing that is stated, it says almost all NBA contracts are fully guaranteed, even if a player is injured or cut. Compared to the NFL, where the majority of contracts see partial guarantees paid within the first 1 to 2 years with no back-end financial commitment. So that's one of the first things that you see when looking up information on NBA contracts. But what I wanted to do was I wanted to dive deeper into this. I wanted to see, he said only 4 teams have players with guaranteed contracts. So I wanted to see how many players on each team have guaranteed contracts or non-guaranteed contracts. Now we know we have two-way contracts. Two-way contracts are not necessarily non-guaranteed contracts. Two-way contracts simply allow a team to bring you up from the G League and play you X amount of games. And if you're brought up from the G League to the NBA, it changes your pay scale. So your pay scale slightly changes. So that's just simply a contract that allows an NBA team to bring up a player up to the G League, or either bump him back down to the G League so he can get a few more games under his belt if he's not in the rotation on the current roster as it stands. So again, I wanted to take out two-way contracts because every team gets, I think they get two-way players, and not every team in the league is even using two-way players. Usually you see teams that are out of the playoff race, looking to build their roster, looking for new potential prospects for the next year. Those are the teams that are really playing with the two-way contracts, bringing in guys that they're looking to develop for the future. So that aspect of it, I'm going to leave that out. Even though I don't believe that two-way contracts are guaranteed contracts. I'm going to pull up a list right here that I pulled up that details all of the teams in the NBA and how many non-guaranteed contracts they have on their roster. Let's take a look at this. All right. So I pulled this site up right here. I couldn't find the list for this year's current guaranteed or non-guaranteed contracts. The CBA hasn't changed. So I'm assuming that this list right here hasn't really shifted away from what we generally see trending. On top of the fact that Brandon Marshall said only 4 players from each team has a guaranteed contract. So basically this list right here is going to detail all of the teams and how many non-guaranteed contracts they have on every roster. All right, so we're going to start with the Atlanta Hawks, Boston Celtics, Nets, Hornets, Bulls, Cavs, Mavericks, and Nuggets. As you guys can see here, and it says none under all of those teams. So all of those teams so far, we don't see any non-guaranteed contracts. Let's go down. We got the Pistons, Warriors, Rockets, Pacers, Clippers, Lakers, Grizzlies, and Heat. No guaranteed contract, no non-guaranteed contracts right there. So everybody on those rosters have been fully guaranteed. Let's move on. We got the Bucks, Timberwolves, Pelicans, Knicks, Thunder, Magic, Sixers, Suns, Blazers, Kings, Spurs, Raptors, Jazz, and Wizards. According to this list right here, every team in the NBA has 0 non-guaranteed contracts on their roster. So what this tells me right here is, because I don't know how inclusive this list is, what this tells me right here is two-way contracts aren't considered non-guaranteed because they are guaranteed to a certain degree. And players, whatever your contract is, for the most part, that's what you get in the NBA. Now, unless you do something to cause your contract to be voided, that end figure that we see is close to the figure that you're going to get. Now, we know with incentives and bonuses, you may not meet that final total that you see, but for the most part, if you have a 2-year, $10 million contract, you're probably guaranteed to collect in the NBA 8 to 9 million of that, probably with 1 million of that being bonuses and incentives. All right. So, but in the NFL, if you're cut, if you're waived at any time, that team doesn't have to pay you a dime of that money. It's not like that in the NBA. If you are cut from a team, as we read earlier before, almost all NBA contracts are fully guaranteed, even if a player is injured or cut. So it doesn't matter if you're cut. They have to find a way to pay you that contract. And we know this is true because look at a guy like Chandler Parsons, who's still getting paid. We saw Gorgie Dang, and a lot of these guys, Timothy Mozgov, all of these guys are still getting paid. We saw Gilbert Arenas essentially get kicked out of the league, and he was still getting paid his $20 million salary. All right, so again, it's very hard to get out of paying these players what they're owed, even if they're not on the court playing. These teams are essentially locked in to these deals. And so if you want to ask, what you can do is the next question you want to ask is why? How is this happening? All right, how are these players getting this money and teams aren't able to get out of these contracts? And so I also looked up some information on that as well. And a lot of this stuff happens because you have GMs just making bad decisions. One GM stated that having non-guaranteed contracts doesn't mean an NBA GM will get smarter. He says at the end of the day, NBA owners are in the position that they are because their GMs opened up the vault and signed players to some horrendous contracts. I mean, even if you look at this image right here, we look at Harrison Barnes. He signed a horrendous contract when he left Golden State. He didn't pan out to the expectation. Chandler Parsons, we know how much of a bust he's been. Otto Porter, I mean, a solid player worthy of the money, but with injuries, he hasn't been able to live up to expectation. Why couldn't the Wizards just cut him and cut ties with that money? They couldn't. He's locked into all those dollars. Chris Paul's contract was described by the Rockets owner as one of the worst contracts in NBA history. We have Enes Kanter, even Allen Houston. Allen Houston, his career cut short by injury. With all of these players, whether on the court or off the court, are gonna get paid every dime of their NBA contracts outside of incentives and bonuses, if they meet or don't meet those incentives or bonuses. But incentives or bonuses make up a very small portion of your contract. It's not like incentives or bonuses make up half or over half of your contract. These NBA players will get the majority of what's owed to them, regardless of if they're on the court or not. All right, it takes a really, really far-reaching circumstances for your contract to be voided in the NBA, and we've rarely seen that happen at the NBA level. Transitioning into some of the things that they said about some of the social issues, I think that Brandon Marshall was 100% dead on. But I think both sides made a lot of good points there, because Brandon Marshall's talking about why players aren't standing up. The NFL's changing, the climate is different. They should be willing to stand up for these social issues. But the other guys were saying not everybody has that locked in money. And this all tied into their conversation about guaranteed contracts. When you don't have money locked in the bank, contracts aren't guaranteed. Not everyone, as they stated, is making the money that Russell Wilson, or Deshaun Watson, or these guys are making top dollar, and they have some really good guaranteed money on those contracts, as opposed to some of these other guys on the team. I mean, you're looking at that second or third tight end who's just hanging on in the NFL by string. He's looking to get his break. He's looking to get his next payday. Some of these guys are not trying to make as much noise, because when they go home at night, they have to find ways to feed their family. So I think that's a sensitive area to really dive down. I didn't really want to get off into a tangent talking about that too much, but it is understandable, some of the things that these players have to think about before they really jump out there and put themselves in the spotlight of some social justice movement. That honestly, how trustworthy is it? A lot of these movements, these social justice movements are backed by BLM and Black Lives Matter. And I personally know that there are a lot of athletes and players who don't want anything to do with that organization because of what it stands for. So I think you just have to be cautious, especially in that particular topic all around the board, because these players have a lot at stake if they're going to be the ones that stick their necks out there. Now, if everyone's doing it, like in the NBA, it was much easier for every player to take a knee and not be the odd man out, because everyone was actively involved in it. And this is where the NBA thrives. As an NBA family, they all came together. And what the NBA didn't allow to happen is the people that didn't want to take a knee, they didn't turn those people into media pawns or villainize them. We saw Miles Leonard. We saw a number of players not take a knee. Miles Leonard, the forward from the Orlando Magic, Jonathan Isaac, he didn't take a knee either. We didn't villainize him. They really didn't even make much of a story about it. You saw it reported here and there. We even reported on it to a certain degree. But they didn't villainize them. So the players that didn't take a knee, they basically spoke with it internally to their teammates, explained to them why everybody was fine with it, and they allowed everybody to have their voice. So I think with regards to the NFL, fixing the NFL, I think if they step back and not try to villainize players for taking a stance one way or the other. We saw how they turned Colin Kaepernick into one of the biggest villains in NFL history. Now he's excommunicated from the league, and he was a quarterback that was a couple years prior was in the Super Bowl. So if you're talking about a player who's the third string running back, the second string running back, just trying to stay in the league and collect a few more checks, I'm not 100% positive that these guys are going to be willing to risk it all for some of these movements or protests that are highly suspect in and of themselves because of the people that involve themselves with it. I want you guys to be in the comments. I want you to let me know what you think about that. If you watch this clip, if you watch this full video, remember, I want you guys to go check out that channel. It's a great channel, I Am Athlete. They do great content. And as you can see, like just like our debates, they have heated debates on topics that generally aren't discussed on most channels. So salute to I Am Athlete, man. Appreciate that clip. I appreciate their sentiments and thoughts, and I like the examples that they gave. All right, but again, you guys let me know in the chat what you thought about that. Do you think Brandon Marshall was right? Do you think he was wrong? How do y'all feel about those social issues? And with non-guaranteed contracts in the NFL, do the non-guaranteed contracts in the NFL affect how NFL players approach and deal with some of these social issues? All right, does it prevent them from being as vocal or putting their face out there to be at the front of some movement for some of these issues? Or are they just trying to collect checks and take those checks home to their family? It's a lot to digest there, a lot to think about. All right. Hey, but it's FYF Sports, man. It's been another great podcast video. As we wrap this show up, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell to the video if you haven't done so already. We're riding into 100K. We got a lot more coming for you guys as well. A lot more videos coming for you guys as well. If you haven't heard the news already, we recently did a live stream on Deshaun Watson and the cases, the sexual assault allegations against him by a number of victims. Obviously, there were some people in the chat or just YouTube in general that didn't like our stance on that. And so our live streaming capabilities on this channel have been disabled for 90 days because of that video. But you know what? The grind does not stop. We're still going to be going live. We're going to be going live simultaneously on Instagram and Facebook. All right, the links to those channels, the links to our Instagram and Facebook are going to be in the chat. So make sure you're following us there. All right, you're going to make sure you get those notifications when we go live. Now, even if you missed the live, we're going to record the stream and we're still going to broadcast that stream on YouTube in a live premiere video. So you'll still be able to actively engage. And a lot of the people that are in the panel or in the chat will probably be in there, so you can still chop it up and have those crazy discussions. But if you want to participate in the live stream, you're going to have to come over to Facebook. So just check the link in the description of the video. Whenever we do go live, I'm going to be sending out notifications. I'm also going to drop a teaser video here on YouTube, and I'm just going to allow that to play over and over and over. So when you guys see that teaser video drop, go live, the link is going to be in that video. It's going to take you straight to our Facebook page where you're going to need to follow us, and you can jump into the live streams over there. So again, the grind don't stop. And again, they can put all these barriers up. We still going to keep it moving, and we're still going to actively live stream on any platform that allows us. But we got to talk about these topics. So just because they stopped us and they tried to censor us to a certain degree, even after our live stream capabilities come back and we're appealing that decision now, it's not going to change how we broach all of these topics here at FYF Sports. But hey, it's been another great podcast episode. A lot more to come soon. We're going to be dropping a lot more videos this week. So make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can stay informed on all of the information, all of the news, all of the content coming from FYF Sports. Until then, we'll be back with more sports news, media, and all that good stuff. But until then, it's FYF Sports.
Hey, love my swag, I could call you bitch. Shoot my shot, promise I won't miss. Took the risk, I can't call it quits. Ain't going home when it's hard as shit. Can't suck a day, put my all in this. Can't waste time, put my all in this. Stack paper, put my all in this. Which pop was hit when it's all it is. The hating shit ain't tolerated. Shit really get a nigga irritated. Painting pictures, I be illustrating. Got a bad bitch like annihilating. If you knew better, you would do better. Spectacular slick, I'm a cool fella. Spent $1,200 on this new sweater. Design it down with a new level. Build a foundation of a son. $1 packs. If I don't know you, then you getting taxed. And if they go by that a nigga slack. Got chubby pockets, yeah, I'm getting fat. Eating good, got a Gucci belly. Won't be paid in full like I'm on belly. Preach, feed my dogs right out the celly. My pockets green like peas or celery. Got the 9 from a poacher beef. Dummy got some shit that knock you off your feet. Making signals like I hit the wrong key. Been cooked my flow like I was off beat. One foot in, one out, I'm caught in the middle. Had to follow through and face with the limits. Get my point across, I still got my dribble. Ever see me fall, my legs getting crippled. Love my swag, I could call you bitch. Shoot my shot from a side, won't miss. Took the risk, I can't call it quits. Ain't going home when it's hard as shit. Can't suck a day, put my all in this. Can't waste time, put my all in this. Stack paper, put my all in this. Which pop was hit when it's all it is. My heart in it, go hard, put my all in. Long wearing paper chase, I want it all in. Hard headed, mama said that I'm stubborn. Won't forgive, forget, so hold grudges. One flaw, nigga got forever, fuck you. Put pistol on me, cause I pull and shoot. Ain't kidding around, the same about liking views. Soon as they counted me out, a nigga came through. Used to toss and turn all night. Dreaming about death, life don't come twice. No 2 wrongs, never make it right. It's down in the dark, I wish it come to light. Seeing all these deaths made me lose it. Seeing a nigga win it, want me losing. A win is a win, nigga, that shoot shit. Still running through packs and making music. Won't let my demons take control of me. Can't let this pain take a toll on me. When even stress, smoke, and all these bogeys. She fucked up, gotta keep a pole on me. No some real ones stay on go for me. Pray, I never use a go for me. Move my family away, my go homie. I stay down, just me and my homie. Love my swag, I could call you bitch. Shoot my shot from a side, won't miss. Took the risk, I can't call it quits. Ain't going home when it's hard as shit. Can't suck a day, put my all in this. Can't waste time, put my all in this. Stack paper, put my all in this. Which pop was hit when it's all it is.
Purchase this beat.